I'm Cleve Wells. Welcome to the HorseTrainingChannel.com. We're going to work today on some things that are going to hopefully help us out in the show pen. We just got through working this horse, and we just took a little break, and I had another horse saddled up, but I made the choice to stay with this horse. He's kind of warmed up, and everybody's kind of used to watching him, and kind of so I'm going to point out some other things to work on and just what we're doing this time of the year. Like I pointed out before, it's go time, it's show time. So we're going to build confidence and do some things that help us in the show pen. Let's say it's show time, so I'm thinking show. Manners. Manners is what makes good show horses. When your horse decides to run off in the pen, that's a mental decision. So right now there's quite a bit of mental work. We want to build horses' confidence, but this horse is going to make a conscious decision to disobey you inside the show pen. So I want to try to alleviate as much of that as I can. And by doing that, I want to kind of bring it out, and I want to tease this horse just a little bit, and if I can, and see if there's some negative thoughts are in there that I can probably catch prior to going to the show pen. So those are some things that we're going to work on today with the video. Just as before, the first move we're going to make is to see if this horse wants to drop. Break at the withers, break at the pole. When I back this horse up, we want to watch right here. Everybody watches from the center of the neck forward. Right now we want to watch right here. Break at the withers, that's the wither right there. That's where I want to see the break. Right there. That's break at the withers. Anytime this part of the neck is higher than the wither, that's not break. Doesn't matter where his head and neck's at. If this, from right here to right here, does not break, then that is not a break at the withers. Don't roll your spurs. Don't help with your spurs. I prefer to do it with my hand right there. Break. If you're break them deep. It doesn't make any difference how deep you break it. It just makes a difference in how shallow you break it. I would rather break too deep than too shallow right now this time of the year. Then we're going to do some indirect turns. If this horse tries to bring his head up on you, then we're just going to keep putting the head down, and I'm going to push this horse around with my left spur and make sure that he doesn't want to go forward. All right, now I want you to notice something, and you may have caught it a while ago when we start to lope this horse off. Everybody gets, this is a difficult move right here for most people. They want to do indirect turns, and then they want to stop, and then they want to go lope, okay? What I want to do is you want to be as fluid as you can. See, I've got my left spur tapping him, but I've got my right leg right on his belly if I want to lope off. And as people that have been following us, they know that to do a transition means to give the horse a cue from the saddle. It's not pushing more with the leg. Do not let this horse just, whoa. See, he made a mistake there. Get back here. The cow flies are bothering him a little bit this morning, but do not just let that horse lope off. I want this horse to lope around. You're going to watch. I'm going to lope him, and I want him to lope around. I want to see this horse get a little bit more swing from behind when I lope off, because if you'll think about it, if this horse, when I lope him off, if he's taking his back in and swinging it out just a little bit, he's got to push with this right rear. He's pushing. That means he's opening his hocks up. He's freeing up with his hocks and stepping, and he's going to be real nice and big with his hock from the get-go. If we just lope straight, then he can just lope like this right here. I'm just kind of making him stay open, stay big, stay open, because like I mentioned in the prior video, we're kind of getting things screwed down a little tight right now, and we're wanting our discipline, our manners, and we're wanting everything tight. But what I don't want is my legs to get tight. So by indirect turns, I'm keeping him limber up front. All right, by making him lope like this, lope off every time, I'm keeping his back end limbered up. So as I'm tightening things down, you can be tight without closing up. You can be tight and move big. You can still move free and be tight in your thought process. And that's something like a lot of times people will screw down a horse mentally, like rules are rules and discipline, and you push that, the manners, and then they start losing all their movement because of that. See how I take his horse's back in, push it around, and then let him go forward. Open those hocks up, and then let him step forward. Walk. Good. Now normally, I don't let him stop right there. We'll work him a little bit. Don't hang on the horse's face. I've got the same problem as everybody else. I'll kind of sit here in an indirect turn. You know what? That's what we've done the last 5 or 6 months. Now, I want to see, are you going to lean or are you going to leak? Are you going to lean or are you going to leak? If you are, we're going to fix it. If you're not, I'm going to get out of your way and let you do your job. Keep pushing the hip around, hip around, hip around, hip around, show. Open those hocks up and then show. I'm going to take a hold of him. I'm going to push his hips around, open the hocks up, show. Now I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on this leg because this is also an amateur horse, and so I'm not going to sit here and just grind and grind on this horse. Take a hold, good. He was good in his face, break at the withers, break at the pole, show. When I release, if I feel him go down in any place, if I feel him get weak in his hock, I'm going to push him back up. Right. If I feel him leak up front, trot. If anything I feel, I'll stop and fix. It may not be perfect, but where I'm at today, he's being obedient, and that's what I'm after, is the obedience of it. Like I said, your horses are all going to move different, and you're going to want different things from your horses. But what I want from my horse right now is obedience. If I push, I want him to give me a little more. It may not be good enough, but it's still, if he's given, if I'm asking and he's given, and if I'm asking and he's trying, and I feel the give and I feel the try, then I know I'm going to continue to get better and better, and I'm going to maximize my horse. Whether it's good enough to compete at the levels that I want to, I don't know. But I know as long as my horse is trying and I have some ideas to progress my horse and continue to try to make him physically stronger and better, then we're going to continue to make progress. Another reason right now is I want to short work my horses, like stopping back and doing some of this stuff, is this time of the year, I don't want to build up lungs in my horse. I don't want my horse to be able to lope around here for 30 minutes right now. I want him to be physically fit, but yet at the same time, I want my horse I won't be able to put him on the lunge line for 30 minutes and him run around there and go, I'm ready to go to work, I'm ready to be good, I'm ready to show. Because I don't want to lope and lope and lope and ride and lope this time of the year, and most people are hyperventilating and choking right now. And stop, fix your problems, go back to work, because you don't want to build the air up, because then you have to be detrimental to their legs by lunging them for an hour out there, and then you've got their legs all jelloed and tired, and then you're wondering why they can't do what they were doing at home. It's because you didn't work them like that at home. Plus, I just don't want to build that air up to make it that difficult for them at the horse show. Everybody that shows horses, no matter what event, we all understand there is a fatigue factor involved in showing a horse. The fatigue factor is different for different horses. So you have to go get that. So don't build that up knowing that you're going to have to go get it and get that horse tired to show. So don't continue to work and build that longevity in that horse to where it's going to make it very difficult on the lunge line to get into that fatigue factor. The other thing, like when this horse is standing here, you see a lot of people sit here and work these horses with their legs. Right now, I don't like to do that. I want to know that my horse is here as a willing participant. Now, my legs will come into play. We do ride with our legs, we do use our legs, but that's to enhance my ride. If I'm having to use my hands and my legs inside the warm-up pen right here at my house in the most comfortable environment that this horse is ever going to work in, because this is where he lives, if it's taking my feet and my hands to get this horse to perform, then what am I going to use when I get into a strange environment? What am I going to use to enhance the ride, enhance the performance when I get to a major event? So you've got to train with your hands and train with your legs, and then come in and put it all together. And so when I'm showing, yes, I do use both legs, and I do soften my horses up, and I do maintain frame and shape with my legs and help my horses when I'm showing, but not out here. I expect this horse to run on plan A out here, and plan A is being a 100% willing participant because I ask, and that's the reason that they're doing their job. Then we'll go to the horse show. I may have to incorporate, or I will have to incorporate plan B, which is using my feet to a little bit more than what I do at home. But even at the horse show now, I still try to work on plan A. Plan A is getting that horse to be a willing participant because you ask. Soft, soft. Lay your fingers forward, take a hold, bump them. Set your hands forward. Don't ride in the middle. Don't ride your hand up. Show. Push those reins to that horse. Show, show. Take a hold. Show. Now you'll also notice on both of these tapes, I do not let my horse come out of those indirect turns and do a loose rein transition. We're not working on transitions. Whoa. So that's not something that I'm gonna let, because if I turn this horse loose, what happens is there I went to hanging on the reins again. If I turn this horse around and then on a loose rein, I trot him off like that, what's going to happen? One, the transition will start getting bad, because transitions are high maintenance, okay? So I want to keep my transitions really tight and really correct. There he goes and relaxes. That's good. Relax out. Plus, if I take a hold of this horse, this is what most people do, because I know this is what I do, and that's what I see a lot of people do. Drop deep, and then they'll take a hold, and then they'll release and send that horse forward. Well, what you're doing then is you're teaching that horse that when you bump, when you release, that horse learns to send himself forward. That is a very, very bad habit for a horse to get into. So what I want to do, back him up, drop him deep, drop him deep. I don't want to be sending my horse forward. I don't want to release that horse and him ever to step forward. So just as a safety factor, and to keep my transitions really good and tight, out here, I don't release like that right there. I don't release and lope. That is not the right thing to do. Walk. Okay, that is because it looks cool today. You say, well, there wasn't nothing wrong with that look. It's not. We're not trying to look pretty. We're not trying to practice pretty, and we're not trying to look good in the show pen. What we're trying to do, we're trying to walk up. He raised his head up that time. See, now in the show pen, I could probably take my spurs and roll this horse and drop his head back down. I know I can. So I can always fix that in the show pen. I can overcome that. It's so minute that you probably didn't even see it, and the judges probably aren't going to see it. I saw it here. I didn't make a big deal. I'm not punishing for it. I'm just calling the mistake. I'll do things like I'm going to lope over here towards the rail. Well, bad transition. Yeah, I got to hanging on his face again. See, y'all see me do a lot of bad habits too. Lope him off. But I also want to lope this horse over towards the rail, and I want to see if he, whoa. I've got a few horses that when I get too close to the fence right here, they'll almost finish taking me. Like I'll try to stop them 5, 6, 10 feet, 15 feet, 3 feet from the rail. And I want to make sure that they see that fence, that they don't try to latch onto it and run with me down to that fence, or it doesn't make them mentally leave me when we get to the fence. And I've got a few horses that I have to work on that on, so I wanted to call that because I know when I get that close to the fence, man, and I ask them to stop, I don't get near the stop and I don't get near the obedience as I do in the center of the pen, because they've already seen the rail. They know that they can go there and take a break. Plus my horses, they want to be on the rail. And I want the horse to want to be on the rail, but not at the extent of mentally leaving me and having their own thought process to get to the rail. I do not want that. Next step I'll do, and I'm going to lope out here in the sun just a little bit. I'll lope this horse towards the rail, right there, and then I'll take him off. And I'll run him down it out here. And I'll lope him towards it, and I'll take him off. Whoa. And I just want to know that this horse is not leaning, so when I have to make some passes, when I have to pass some horses, I want to know that, yes, that horse wants to get on the rail. Yes, that horse is going to be comfortable on the fence. And yes, he would like to be over there. But he's not going to push or lean to get to it. He's not going to mentally leave me to get to the rail. Push that hip around. If that hip doesn't push around, stop them, start them over. Then I'll start opening up, swing my legs, walk. Break at the withers, break at the poles, soften the face. Break at the withers. If I'm indirect turning and I don't feel like he's breaking, anytime you're in this indirect turn, stop, drop him deeper, indirect turn. Anytime he comes up, stop, drop him deeper, indirect turn. What this is going to do, this is going to take care of your shoulders right here. This is going to set the horse's shoulders up. This is going to keep the horse's hocks open right here by pushing him around. And there's nothing that says that if I've got my, whoa, good. There's nothing that says that let's say these indirect turns and dropping that horse deep and stepping him back is going to take care of the front end. But there's not anything that says that can't still do all my other program also. I don't want to forget what I've done in the last 6 months or the last year or however long you've been working the horse. So if he gets sticky behind, push him around a little bit, kind of open him back up, soften him up. There's no, don't forget the rest of your program. Everybody's got a program per horse. I had an email the other day about working a finished horse, finishing a horse. When you get into detail work like this, then finishing a horse, every horse has got their own weaknesses, whether it's the hock or the head and neck or their mental concentration or their shoulders. Every horse is weak in certain areas, but what they can have is the same manners. Every horse can work as the same manners, and that's why I've always said there's 100 ways to train a horse, but when you're right here on that rail, everybody goes in the show pen and plays by the same manners. Everybody's got the same manners in the show pen. So now I'm going to come back up in the shade a little bit. Manners, 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 manners. Whoa. Good. All right. My horse has been good. He went through 2 sessions today. You can see we came out cold turkey. We worked the horse. You know, you've watched him, you know, every lope's going to be different. You can do 10 lope offs, 10 transitions. They're always going to be different. So nobody gets there, nobody is there, and nobody's really 100% sure or confident how they're going to do when they ride inside the show pen. That's what keeps it fun and exciting. But we have plan A, and we work on that extremely hard. We have a plan B, you know, to kind of enhance and help our horse through their mistakes, and so we build on those, and we go in the show pen and do the best that we can do. But it is show time, and it's time to put the manners, put the manners to the movement, and make these horses, you know, get these horses to being a willing participant. You're not going to jam anything right now. You force the issues, and the horse is going to take that back away from you in the show pen. So we want to do everything possible to get a willing participant this time of the year. Lots of backing up, setting, you know, slow it down, just slow it down. A lot of walking on the rail, you know, a lot of transitions. You know, your distance, you've got to have that by now. You know, I don't have to go to loping for 20 or 30 minutes and I'm not trying to get my distance out of the horse. What I want is I want my distance and mental concentration right now. You know, I may work some, but I want to know mentally, if that horse mentally stays with me, he's going to do the distance. So sometimes them not doing the distance that you need in trotting and loping is because mentally they leave you. It's not that they're physically making a mistake, it's mentally they look up and look out and they can't concentrate that long. So whether I'm trotting or loping or whatever I'm doing, I'm holding this horse into a mental concentration. The whole time I'm riding him, I'm holding him into a mental concentration right now. Break it to withers, break it to pole, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Ride is right, everything else is wrong. Ride is right, everything else is wrong. In my guidelines as to what I want for a horse. What you do, you decide what's right, you decide what you want for your horse, and you decide right and wrong, and just stay with that. Exactly, stay with that. Take out the guesswork, the maybes, the ifs, well, that's pretty good, well, that might be good enough, well, I think that's right. That is where it gets very confusing, and unless you know, there's no way that your horse is ever going to know. So whether you know or not, I always tell people, if you don't know, fake it right now. You have to give that horse the confidence that you know what you're talking about, and you know what you want, and you know what you're doing, and build the confidence in that horse so that that horse will trust you in the show pen right now. So I hope something that we've said today, I hope it really helps you out. Like I said, we're getting ready. The next couple of months, we're going to be at the Scottsdale Classic. We're going to be at the Quarter Horse Congress. We're going to be at the AQHA World Show. So if you're there, you know, stop by and see us, say hello. You know, we may be a little, you know, always make sure and tell people, we may be a little tight at that time because it is major competition. So, you know, if we seem maybe a little grouchy, maybe it's because we've worked all night and showed all day and we're wore out or something. But you know, if you do see us, don't hesitate to walk up and say hello and introduce yourself, and any constructive criticism that we can have on the Horse Training Channel, we'll sure take it. Any ideas you've got, keep them coming, and look forward to seeing everybody in and outside the show pen at the next 3 or 4 major events. Thank you for sitting in.